MMA is considered one of the largest growing sports in the world today. But you may ask, where did it come from? I haven't heard of this before. Or what do I need to know about this sport? My goal is to showcase unfamiliar information about MMA and to also introduce the sport to people that may be curious. Because it truly is an amazing and diverse element of combat. I will explain how it began to help you understand the origin, the fighting styles MMA is involved with, and the promotions of MMA. MMA, also known as mixed martial arts, is a sport that came into the scene much later than other sports. The origin of when it started confuses many, as some fans believe it started when the biggest promotion, the UFC, became popular. However, that is actually incorrect, as the first event took place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on March 20th, 1980. It was a promotion made by Calgary and Viola Productions named Battle of Tough Guys. It was the first event that allowed a full set of non-lethal martial arts combat, including punching, striking, kicking, throwing, and grappling. At this point, professional fighters didn't exist, so it was made with talented street fighters that would fight for a $6,000 reward. The promotion would continue to throw events until the Senate released the Tough Guy Law, ending MMA and the company in 1983. It was then rebirthed 10 years later, November 12, 1993, by a promotion called the UFC. Despite the UFC being so new in terms of timeline, it continues to move forward as one of the largest growing sports in our current era. Fighting styles in the MMA are incredibly diverse in technique and effectiveness. The main fighting styles that are found in MMA include wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, and karate. The most entertaining part of mixing these techniques in combat is seeing what happens when two different styles interact with each other and seeing what it creates. For example, a wrestler may have a hard time with a jiu-jitsu black belt, because when they're on the ground, a jiu-jitsu fighter is very good at chokes and submissions. So even though the wrestler is good on the ground, he has to be careful, as the jiu-jitsu fighter could figure out ways to negate the wrestler from using his techniques, and also could submit him on the offensive. It's almost like being an anti-wrestler. But those are just some of the styles involving the ground. Striking is the other world of MMA. It is a component that involves fighting on the feet, exchanging blows. Kickboxing and Muay Thai are two huge styles in MMA that are very similar. They both involve comboing punching and kicking on the feet. The only difference between them is that Muay Thai uses elbows and knees in the style, but kickboxing is separate. The points of the body that are targeted during these fights are the head, mainly aiming towards the chin or the temple. The body involves striking towards the liver for more damage. And the legs using leg kicks, which are kicking towards your opponent's calf and thighs. However, leg kicks can be defended and countered by pushing out your shin, so the person attempting the leg kick on you receives more damage than you do. Because kicking someone in the shin will always hurt your shin more. If you've ever hit your shin against a corner or a stair step, it is a similar feeling, just much worse. Last but not least, striking and boxing, which is simply fighting with your hands. There are many promotions of MMA in our current era. Some examples are Bellator, One Championship, and Rizin. However, none of these promotions compare to the UFC. The UFC is a promotion with many superstars by the names of Conor McGregor, Jon Jones, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and so much more. There are different weight classes in the promotion, and each weight class has a reigning champion. Underneath the champion is the number one contender, then 2, then 3, 4, so on. Every new fighter starts in the UFC unranked, then the fights their way to the top. If you lose, you drop down, and if you win, you move up. With this system, every fighter's goal is to fight their way to the number one contender spot, because if you do, you will receive what is called a title shot. A title shot means you get to fight the champion to receive the belt, and if you do defeat the champion and become the new one, this can mean so much to a fighter for their legacy, fame, finance, and happiness. Mixed martial arts is still growing so much to this day, and even hosted their first event returning from the current pandemic. UFC 249, which was huge for the sport, it came from a rocky start in Pittsburgh to a high development of fighting styles, and finally to a great promotion of the UFC. I highly recommend looking into martial arts to watch as a fan and to train as a way to benefit yourself physically and mentally. It is so unique, and it teaches a lot in life about being tough, humble, and having confidence in yourself. Thanks for listening.